Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is one I've been thinking of doing for a couple of weeks now, and that is just to talk about the musicals that are on the West End at the moment, my thoughts on them, whether I would be interested in going to see them, etc. Now, full disclosure, I am not at a place where I feel comfortable going into an auditorium right now. I'm not there. Hopefully we'll get there because I would really like to see some live theatre, but at the moment with everything I still don't feel comfortable doing that, ironically, because I'm back on stage, but hey ho. And even if I felt comfortable going into an auditorium, there's only so much time and money I have to go and see shows. There is no way that I could go and see every single musical that is on the West End. However, as an artist, it is important to try and see as much as possible. And of course, if time, money and COVID weren't an option, despite my personal opinions and my personal taste, I would still venture to try and see all of the shows that I'm going to talk about in this video, because it's important to push yourself out of your comfort zone, to see things that you might not like, to see things that you know you won't like, to see things that are bad, and think critically about why they don't work for you and why you don't like it and what kind of audience is this actually for, etc. I've done that so many times, usually on shows that I've ushered on in between acting jobs, because I've seen so much stuff that has not been my cup of tea, and it is really useful. However, as an artist, it is also important to have a sense of taste, and when you're going to watch things for entertainment, obviously there's going to be some things that you personally find entertaining more so than other things. So that's where this kind of video is coming from as I talk about these musicals. Is mainly my own personal taste in terms of what I find entertaining, and what, if I just wanted a night off of actor brain, just going to the theatre to enjoy myself, what I would be interested in going to see versus not going to see. So do not take this video personally. If I mention a show that I'm not really fussed about seeing and it's like your all-time favourite musical, please do not take it personally. I love that it's your favourite musical, that is great. But I just thought it'd be nice to chat about what's actually opened back up now and what I would love to go and see if I felt comfortable and safe, and what I kind of am okay passing if I felt comfortable and safe. I'm obviously passing everything. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So I've got the London Theatre What's On page, and we're just going to have a little scroll through and we're going to see what's on. Just also as a quick disclaimer, I just kind of not thinking to film like this evening, was like, oh, let me just have a look and see if there is a list of what's on. And one of the musicals that we'll get to very early on in this video, I was like, I didn't even know that was open yet, because I'm just so out of the loop with COVID and everything. I honestly, like, number 2 on this list, I think, was like, I didn't know it had been revived. So yeah, let's have a chat. So number 1 is Sister Act the musical. Yeah, I would be interested in seeing this. I have a feeling, is this the production that Whoopi Goldberg was meant to be in? Oh, this isn't on until, hang on a minute. It says it'll be revived in 2022, but it's saying it's booking until August 2022. So I guess this isn't on yet. Okay. Well, we'll add it to the list anyway. So some of these things might not be on like right now, they might like be in the future. Hopefully I can edit that into something a bit more succinct, but I would be interested in seeing Sister Act. I know a couple of numbers from it. Obviously, I love the film Sister Act. So yeah, I would be, if I could afford tickets, I would be interested in seeing Sister Act the musical, actually. I think that is a good show. Ah, here's the one. Number 2 is Dirty Dancing at the Dominion Theatre. It's saying it's booking till April 2022, and it's got Black Friday tickets asterisk, which makes me think that this is open right now. I had no idea that Dirty Dancing was back in the West End. I should probably double check if it is. Editing me will check if it is on like literally right now. Because I swear that's where Prince of Egypt is at the Dominion. But if Dirty Dancing is back as I'm filming this, literally had no idea that it was on. If it's coming back next year after Prince of Egypt closes, I'm not sure when Prince of Egypt closes. I'm pretty sure it's the beginning of January. Then that makes a bit more sense. And it would make sense for the Dominion to bring in something that, like, people are going to come and see Dirty Dancing. People like the film, been in the West End a few times, so it would make sense as a safe bet to have in hiring that theatre once Prince of Egypt goes, if it hasn't gone already. I'm going to be honest, I don't really have an interest in seeing Dirty Dancing. I haven't seen the film, which people say that I should see the film, and maybe I should see the film, but I'm not a fan of... I know this isn't really a jukebox because it's based on the film. It might be a jukebox, I don't know. But yeah, I'm just not... If I had to choose between an original book musical and a musical that's based on something, or a jukebox musical, I'd go with the original book musical first and foremost. Just me personally, there's nothing about Dirty Dancing where I'm like, oh my god, I have to see that. Also, my understanding of Dirty Dancing is that there's like 2 singers who sing all of the songs and then the characters are just acting, which is like a way to do it. I'm just not interested in that personally. Number 3, Wicked. I do love Wicked. It was like, I think I've said this before, it was like my coming of age musical when I was a teenager. I've seen it enough times. I don't need to see Wicked again. I'm fine, but good on Wicked for life. Tina Turner the musical at the Old Witch. I'm torn on Tina Turner the musical because, as I have just said, if it made it in the edit, I'm not a massive fan of jukebox musicals. There are some that really work and are good and that I've seen and that I've enjoyed, but my personal taste is I would rather have a musical with original songs. My personal taste leans that way. However, I would be really interested to see a show about Tina Turner's life. So I'm kind of on the fence with Tina Turner. If I had the money to see a show and I'd seen other things that I wanted to see before this, then I'd give it a watch, but it's not like at the top of my list, if that makes sense. Mamma Mia at the Novello. See, I feel like Mamma Mia is quite a pinnacle musical in terms of the way jukeboxes are done. It was Mamma Mia and We Will Rock You that were the first kind of jukeboxes where it wasn't like, we're doing it about the band, we're actually going to have an original story. I feel like I should see Mamma Mia, like how I felt that I should see Oklahoma and, you know, other kind of seminal musicals in musical theatre history. I feel like I should watch Mamma Mia, which kind of puts it on a I would watch it kind of list. I just don't know if I could deal with the hen parties. Like, I know people who've worked front of house on Mamma Mia, and it is all just like hen parties and birthday parties, and I don't know if I could deal with being in a rowdy audience. I don't know if one thing COVID has taught me is that I don't like crowds that are obnoxious, so maybe I wouldn't have fun at Mamma Mia, but at the same time I feel like I should see it as part of my musical theatre, just seeing things that are important in the history, do you know what I mean? Book of Mormon at the Prince of Wales Theatre. I have seen Book of Mormon. I've been seen for Book of Mormon a couple of times as well. I don't feel like I need to see it again. I think I'm good, and yeah, so it's not kind of high up on my list of things that I want to see. Come From Away. Mate. Mate, I wish that I could go and see Come From Away. Actually, because me and Josh were both sick with COVID really recently, we were both kind of like, we should go and see Come From Away on a quiet night, because now is like when we've got the least chance of catching COVID, because we've both just had it and we're both double vaxxed, and it's straight through, don't have to worry about mingling in the bar at the interval, and we can just keep our masks on, it'll be fine. So I'm really tempted to make an exception for Come From Away, because that musical just gets me in the feels. And even if I don't do that, Come From Away is like the first thing I'm booking as soon as I feel okay to go back into a theatre auditorium. Absolutely 100%, no questions asked. Jersey Boys. I've seen Jersey Boys so many times. I worked front of house on it for 2 years, so I don't need to see Jersey Boys. I'm good. Only Fools and Horses. I didn't know Only Fools and Horses was still on, actually. I'm glad that it is. I don't know how I feel about Only Fools and Horses. I was really cynical about it, but then I know it's had really good reviews, and I grew up watching Only Fools and Horses. Only Fools and Horses is a really British thing, so if you're not from the UK, you probably don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Only Fools and Horses was a sitcom. I think it was set in London, and it was Del Boy, who's the main character, and his brother, and they're always coming up with like money-making schemes. It's like I'm pretty sure they were like from the East End. I was like a kid when I was watching this, so I'm not sure exactly on like the details that as an adult you would pick up on. But like he had a flat cap, and they were always trying to do like dodgy deals. Like Del Boy would buy like lots of knockoff radios and try and sell it, and then something would go wrong, and then they'd have to get out of the situation. It was like a comedy, but it was all about them trying to do these get rich quick schemes, and very, very British, very British. So because of that, I would be quite interested to see it actually. And I love that it's, you know, it's a new musical, new British musical as well. I'm assuming the writers are British. If they're not, then I wouldn't want to see it, because you really need to get like the humour to be able to bring it across, I think. I don't think Only Fools and Horses the musical could be written by anyone other than a Brit. But yeah. I'd be quite interested to see that actually. Yes, Prince of Egypt at the Dominion Theatre. Yeah, so Prince of Egypt is running till the 8th of January, and then I guess Dirty Dancing is coming in. That makes sense. Now, I loved the film The Prince of Egypt. Just, yeah, The Prince of Egypt was one of the musical movies that I always used to just sing along to. I love that film. And because of that, I don't really want to see the musical. And I know that's really petty and dumb, but I just don't want my childhood memory of the film to be ruined, because I love it so much. And I heard mixed things about The Prince of Egypt. Doesn't stop me clicking on the videos of the adverts on Facebook and stuff. And the choreography does look dope. But I don't think I can see it. I'm definitely not going to see it before it closes, because again, not feeling comfortable going into an auditorium. But yeah, I think I would be giving that a miss anyway, to be honest, because you can't beat the film. Okay. And Juliet. Ooh, okay, right. So there are a lot of things that with my personal taste, I'm like, I don't think And Juliet's going to be for me. Firstly, the fact that it's a jukebox musical, like I said, not a massive fan of jukeboxes. And Juliet as a jukebox, it isn't like there's one genre of music, like Motown is all Motown songs, or one artist like most other jukeboxes are, Jersey Boys, Beautiful, Tina Turner. It's just a mix of pop songs. And I'm just kind of like, meh. Also, I feel like most people would disagree with me on this, but I don't like the premise of And Juliet.
I just want to give a quick content warning and trigger warning about suicide. So if you want to skip any mention of that, then just go to the timestamp on the screen now.
The premise of And Juliet, which I don't think this is a spoiler because this is in all of the advertising, like in the trailers and stuff for their social media marketing, is, who's the guy who wrote Romeo and Juliet? William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is writing the play, and I think Anne Hathaway, maybe his wife, is like, hey, what if Juliet doesn't kill herself? What happens then? And maybe it's not framed this way and I'm doing a disservice and being really ignorant because I've not seen the show, but that reads to me that whole thing of, oh, Juliet is such a weak female character because she just kills herself when her lover dies. That's so lame. And I used to be that person, don't get me wrong. But then when I actually played Juliet and actually had to look at the text and what actually happens in the play and how much agency Juliet actually has, and yeah, obviously you hope that they would do the thing of, you know, just running away together a la Midsummer Night's Dream, but then you'd have the play in Midsummer Night's Dream. You wouldn't have to play Romeo and Juliet. And I don't know, I just feel like you don't need to do the whole what if Juliet doesn't kill herself, because she kills herself to take, not condoning it. Yeah, don't kill yourself to take back control. That's not good. But in the play, that's the whole point. And also, another thing is that the play isn't just about the love between Romeo and Juliet, it's about the feuding families. And the death of Romeo and Juliet is what brings peace and brings the family together and makes them realise that their feuding is stupid. That only works if both of the children die. It's sad and it's nasty, but that's the other, in fact, in a way, the main point of the play is not Romeo and Juliet having this amazing love that happens to end in tragedy. It's about these two households feuding with each other, and the only thing that can bring peace is them losing their loved ones, their children, who could see past that, and you know, they loved each other in spite of everything, and you know, were torn apart by this violence. The fact that they couldn't just be like, hey, we love each other, can we get married? No, that's the point of it. And I'm not saying that that means you should never like try and reimagine things or do the whole what if thing. Like, it's fine, I don't know, I just feel that alongside the jukeboxness, just, I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me. And again, if I had, you know, if I had money going spare, I would probably still see it, because A, I'm curious to see if my surmises are actually true, and B, I have heard people who've listened to the soundtrack be like, oh, it actually looks really good and sounds really good. I think maybe one of my friends saw it and said it was really good. Excuse me. So I wouldn't be averse to seeing it. It's not like avoid it like the play because I've seen it a million times, or like I've listened to the soundtrack and I absolutely hate it. Everything that I know about it makes me think that it wouldn't be my jam. So yeah, that's that on that. Cancel me now. Oh, Bring It On's coming. Okay. No, I knew that. I knew Bring It On was coming. Yeah, Bring It On the musical. The only thing I know about this show is that it's written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, right? I'm pretty sure it is. I should probably double check that. Editing me will double check that. Yeah, I wouldn't be averse to seeing Bring It On. I don't know enough about it to have a strong opinion one way or the other. Keeping it neutral. I'm gonna add this in because I don't know what it is. I think it's a musical, just because in promo stuff I've seen people with microphones. But Pride and Prejudice asterisk brackets sort of. So I thought this was going to be a really kind of, not lazy, but kind of not that interesting anymore, kind of like, oh, it's the five Bennett sisters, but they're being like pop princesses a la Six. No disrespect to Six, I'm just saying that Six did it first, and you know, at that point you're just jumping on the bandwagon. But reading about it, it's actually five servants of the Bennett household retelling what happens in Pride and Prejudice. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, that's more interesting than I thought this was. So assuming it's a musical, I don't actually know if it's a musical or if it's just like a play, but I would actually be interested in seeing this. And it is running till April, so maybe by April the world will be a bit less scary and I could actually go and see it. Also, the Criterion Theatre is an independent theatre, so I like the idea of supporting an independent West End theatre and a new show, so those are all like great things in its favour. So yeah, I'm actually quite curious about Pride and Prejudice, sort of. Heathers the musical. I do want to see this, and in order to say that has required a lot of deconstructing my initial gut reaction to anything that has like complete hype status of being like, no, I don't want to see that because everyone else wants to see that, therefore it's stupid because I'm not like the other girls. I would really like to see Heathers the musical. I've not ever seen it. I've listened to the cast recordings. It's got some banging tunes. I think in terms of like what I like out of a musical, and not just from me as a professional theatre practitioner, worker, person, actor. I've forgotten the word that you would usually... Professional is what I mean. Theatre professional. Wow. That was special, Michaela. Yeah, so not just me as a theatre professional, what professionally, in my professional opinion, do I enjoy, but also just like the emo kid in me being like, wow, This is about how bitchy girls are and how everyone becomes a psychopath. You know, it ticks all of those boxes for me. So yeah, I would like to see Heathers the musical. Even though I am so late to the party, it's fine. Okay, the Rhythmics at the Southwark Playhouse. I know nothing about this musical. What it says here is Calendar Girls meets The Full Monty in a joyous new British musical. The fact that it's a British musical is a tick. We've got to support new British musical theatre. So for that alone, I would go and see it if I felt comfortable. But I know nothing about it. I'd be going in blind. The picture here is of a slightly overweight gentleman with like sweatbands holding like a rhythm. So I think it must be like rhythmic gymnastics or something. I don't know. I just have to see it to find out. But hopefully they'll do a cast recording so I can listen to that. Or if they do streamed performances, that would be great. I'd pay to see that. Okay, My Fair Lady at the London Coliseum. Yes. My Fair Ladies is one of the movie musicals that I grew up with. I love it. I also love the play. It's based on Pygmalion. When I was at RAM, there were a couple of people who were like, oh, you'd make a great Eliza. I would love to play Eliza. That's like, no, I wouldn't go as far to say it's a dream role, but I would love to play Eliza Doolittle. I think it'd be so much fun. So yeah, I would absolutely want to see that live. No question. Oh, and it's playing till 27th of August 2022. So if it doesn't close prematurely, maybe I'll be able to actually see it. Maybe that will be a thing. Another Dominion show, Grease the Musical. So that's opening in April. Wait, why does it say 2017? That doesn't make a lick of sense. It literally says to Saturday the 29th of April 2017, and that is in the past. So don't know what's going on there. For the sake of argument, oh no, but it says London Summer 2022, so that must just be a typo on the listing. Yeah, I've got no interest in seeing Grease live, to be honest. I've seen the film. I think the film is massively flawed and overrated. I guess the one reason I would want to see it is to see the differences between the film and the stage show, but it's going to be quite far down the list, to be honest. I don't really have a burning passion to see Grease live. Moulin Rouge. Full disclosure, I actually saw the dress rehearsal of Moulin Rouge, and I want to make a video about Moulin Rouge. However, I do not want to do that until after Moulin Rouge has had its press and had, been able to bed in. And also, because it was the dress rehearsal, things may have changed. I don't think loads of things will have changed. I think the things that I want to talk about probably would not have changed with Moulin Rouge the musical. So technically I've already seen this, which makes it moot. However, if I hadn't had a chance to see it, would I have wanted to see it or been interested? I'm kind of on the fence. I love the film, so I think from that perspective I was curious to see what the stage show was like. I was also curious, having read an article that Karen Olivo, who I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her name, sorry if it's not, but she originated Satine on Broadway, and obviously she has not gone back to the show on Broadway. And I'm pretty sure I've still got it saved on my phone, a link to the article, because I did want to talk about that as well. Maybe I'll talk about it in the same video. She talked about what it's like not being a Broadway performer anymore, and she mentioned some of the stuff that happened in Moulin Rouge, which was really interesting. So I think my interest was piqued by Moulin Rouge. I think without that aspect of it, if I wasn't massively fussed about the film and there wasn't the whole thing about what had gone on Broadway, I think it would be a similar thing if there would be other things higher up on the list for me to see. But if I'd seen everything I wanted to see and I had money for a ticket and I fancied going, then I would go. Let's say Anything Goes, because it's on the list, even though it's closed, but it's coming back next year, and I think it's going on tour. I would be interested in seeing Anything Goes, to be honest. I know Josh really wouldn't have. But again, as a seminal piece of musical theatre history, I don't think I've ever seen a Cole Porter musical. So yeah, I would like to see Anything Goes. And I heard that the production was stunning, and I wish I felt comfortable to go so I could have seen Sutton Foster live. That would have been amazing. I'm sorry, Sutton Foster, my health is more important. Cabaret it's not at the Kit Kat Club, it's at the Playhouse Theatre, but they're calling it the Kit Kat Club. Again, torn, because firstly, I know how expensive these tickets are. Because there was a massive controversy about how expensive these tickets are. So it's like, even if I felt comfortable and had the money, I'm like, do I condone spending that much on a ticket? Probably not. However, it's Cabaret, and I've never seen Cabaret. So I think this would have to be a yes, because I can't have lived my life and not ever seeing Cabaret, but I wouldn't be happy about it. I think that's what would happen. Like, I would have to see it, but I wouldn't be happy about it. When is it running till? It's running till April next year. So potentially. And then maybe it would extend. I'm just thinking it's probably sold out, because it's got like Eddie Redmayne and stuff in it. That's why the tickets are so expensive. They're paying for Eddie Redmayne. Okay. Cinderella at the Gillian Lynn. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna level with you here. I have no interest in seeing this musical. The only reason I would see this musical is because I have a friend in it. And when I say a friend, it's a guy who I trained with, who I haven't spoken to since we graduated. I would only go to support him, really. I am not fussed. I watched Mickey Joe Theatre's video about what he didn't like about the show, and I wasn't surprised by any of it. The few songs that I have heard, I'm just like, meh. Like the Bad Cinderella song, I'm like, meh. I just literally have no interest. And I feel bad, because I should go and see it because it is New Musical Theatre. I just don't. I don't. I honestly... It would be on the list because it's New Musical Theatre. It would be quite far down. Okay, Frozen the musical. Again, this would be quite far down the list. The only reason I'd be interested in seeing it is because I've heard the visual effects are amazing, but I don't really want to go and see Frozen the musical in an auditorium full of children. No, nothing against children, and I love family theatre, and I think it's great that if you have a family and your kids love Frozen, you can go and take them to a show that isn't The Lion King. Nothing wrong with The Lion King, but you've got more options. I think that's great. I just don't want to sit through it. So actually, no, that I'm just thinking about my cousin's kids, and like, what? Well, she is interested in me. Okay, so one of my cousin's kids, I'd probably take if she was interested, because I know she's interested in like acting and stuff. And then my other cousin's little girl, I think she's the right age to just be interested in it regardless. I'm not sure though. I have so little interaction with children. I don't know what the kids are into. So like, if I was going with them, like if I was treating them to go and see it, then I would go. I basically, I wouldn't see Frozen unless I was with a child. And you can't just snatch children off the street to give you an excuse to go and see something. So I'm probably not going to see it. Okay, Back to the Future the musical. I've not seen Back to the Future the film, and I feel like I would want to see Back to the Future the film before I see the musical. From just in life, I would want to see the film before seeing the musical, and also from the reviews, the few reviews that I saw of it, a lot of people were like, there's a lot of stuff that's like you'll get if you've seen the films, but if you don't, it's kind of like, why are you doing that? So I feel like I would enjoy it more if I had seen the film beforehand. Which means, I mean, it's running till July 2022. So maybe if I get my act together and watch the films, maybe it can be on the list. Chances are I'm probably not gonna see it, and it would be quite far down just because I would want to see the film beforehand. Get Up, Stand Up. Okay, so you know what I said about jukebox musicals? Still stands, but I legit want to see this. Firstly, I know two of the creative team in it. I know the musical director, because I've worked with them before, and the designer, I've worked with them before. Secondly, I love Arenze Kene as a performer, and I would love to see his Bob Marley. Thirdly, I don't know a lot about Bob Marley's life, and I legit want to learn more about it, and how better way to do it than through the medium of a musical and like hearing some of his, like hearing his banging tunes. Obviously, I could just read a Wikipedia article on his life. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do that as well. But yeah, no, I legit want to see this. I did read the reviews of it. I don't know why. Post-COVID, I've just been really into reading reviews. I never usually read reviews for stuff. I think it's because I know that I don't feel comfortable to go and see things, so the only way I can find out about stuff is by reading the reviews. And I know the reviews are mixed, and from the reviews, I have a feeling that the musical is flawed. However, I don't really care. I just want to see it, which is weird because I'm not a jukebox musical girl. I don't know what it, I mean, I know what it is. It's because it's my cultural heritage. That's clearly what it is here. But you know what? I don't care. That can be a reason. I genuinely want to see this. And everything I've heard about Arenze Kenne's performance is that it is phenomenal. Having seen him perform in things before, I can well believe it. I just think whilst the actual show is flawed, I can believe that the performances and it as a night at the theatre would be really entertaining and enjoyable. So yeah, I do actually want to see it. I really hope it extends. Oh, Pretty Woman is still on. Oh, okay, I thought Pretty Woman had closed, but it hasn't. Pretty Woman, the musical. I've seen this show. I worked front of house on it. In fact, I think in a previous video when me and Josh were talking about shows, I can't remember which video it is, but anyway, there's definitely been a previous video where I've said that I didn't like this show. So no, I would not see Pretty Woman, the musical. And I've seen it, so I know that that's not me just being a judgmental twat. I know I don't like it, so I would not go and see it. This is very long. There's a lot of theatres in the West End. Holy moly. Dear Evan Hansen at the Noel Coward Theatre. Yes, I want to see this. Hopefully it extends. Also, I am aware, because people have brought it up who aren't like musical theatre people, that the musical, when you get down to it, is really, really flawed. I don't care, it gives me the feels. That's a play, that's a play, that's a play, that's a play. Yeah, The Drifter's Girl at the Garrick. I've seen this mentioned and I was like, I don't know what this is. Apparently it's about Beverly Light. No, it's not. It stars Beverly Knight and it's about the Drifters and the truth about the woman who made them. I know nothing about the Drifters. I'm assuming this would be a jukebox because the Drifters was a band, and whenever there's a musical about a band, I think it's safe to assume that they're going to use the music of the band. Doesn't mean it has to be that way, but you know, I think it'd be silly not to. I think this would be low down on the list just because I have no idea who the Drifters are and it's a jukebox. I probably have heard some of their songs, but yeah, but it is like a brand new musical, so I guess kind of on the scale, jukeboxness brings it down, but new musical brings it up. So yeah, it would be a, do I fancy seeing this? Do I have the money and the time? You know, is there anything else that I want to see more at this precise moment in time kind of jobby? But I wouldn't say no, because I don't know enough about it to be like, oh no, I don't think it'll be my cup of tea. Matilda the musical. I've seen Matilda the musical, so this is quite low down on the list. Would not be averse to seeing it again because I haven't seen it in years, and I like Tim Minchin. In fact, I like that show. It's just, there's some really great lyrics in it. Yeah. Disney's The Lion King. I'm okay to not see this. I've seen it so many times. Good on you, Lion King. I don't need to see it again. Okay, apparently there's Gatsby the musical. I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently it's on at the Southwark Playhouse. I don't have the dates, so I don't know if it's on now or if it's going to be on later, but I wouldn't say no. I mean, it's going to be original music and stuff, right? So yeah, no, I'd be up for watching that. I have no idea. It just has a synopsis of the story. It doesn't say anything about who wrote it or anything like that. Yeah, no, I'd go see Gatsby the musical. Why not? Can dress up in a 1920s outfit. It'd be great. Hamilton. Hamilton would be on my list, but Hamilton is expensive, so it'd probably end up being quite far down on the list. Basically, of the two shows that I've seen before that are back open, that I'd be like, I want to see them again, Come From Away trumps Hamilton. It goes like Come From Away, then Hamilton, and then probably just new stuff, to be honest. Money and Time, No Object, absolutely would see Hamilton again, of course. Hex at the Olivier Theatre at the National. I have seen a lot of stuff about Hex. I haven't heard any of the music. You know, you get those kind of, what are they called? Not, in my head I've got publicidad, because my social media is in Spanish. Like promoted posts is what I mean. Of them being like, watch so-and-so sing so-and-so from Hex. And I haven't watched any of them. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm in the mood for musical theatre content online and sometimes I'm really not. I'm like, no, just give me like the science and the facts. But I'm curious and I'm always up for whenever the National Theatre takes an interest in musical theatre. So I would be up for seeing Hex. It's on until January 2022, so I don't know how like I am. However, maybe the National will be one of the better theatres to risk, just because I know they now have a mandatory mask policy, and I would hope, touch wood, that patrons of the National would abide by that. And also the auditoriums are quite big and it's a more modern building, so hopefully, I would hope it would be better ventilated. But yeah, I'd be up for seeing Hex. Les Mis, I'm okay not seeing Les Mis. I have seen it before. It was many, many moons ago, as you will have known if you saw me drunk and explain Les Mis to Josh. I'm okay to not watch it again. I'm alright. Mary Poppins at the Prince Edward. Yeah, I've already seen Mary Poppins, so I'm okay to not see it again. Yeah, I'm cool. So Phantom of the Opera, I'm cool to not see Phantom of the Opera. I've seen it, we're good. And that is last but not least. So yeah, Phantom of the Opera can pass it. I'm good. You go on and do your thing. Oh, the only reason I would probably see Phantom again is because, again, I know someone in it. And that's the only reason I saw Phantom the first time, is because I knew someone who was in it. And yeah, Phantom's just not my cup of tea. So, oh, the other reason I would see Phantom is because I know Josh is curious to see it, so I would go and see it with Josh. But for me, myself personally, nah, I'm fine to not see Phantom. Those are all of the musicals that are on in the West End, or will be shortly, or will be for a limited time. I mean, by the time I post this and get it edited together, maybe some of those things will have already closed. But yeah, those are my opinions on that. Yeah, and it was just quite nice to see what's on, actually. I just haven't had I guess because in my head I'm like, I'm not ready to go back to watching theatre yet. I just haven't looked at what's on because I know it would just make me depressed. But it's actually been quite nice seeing what's on, and it's nice to see that there is some new stuff. It's not all stuff that was either on before or is just being revived because it's easy. There's some new musicals in there which we love to see. So those are my opinions on everything that is currently in the West End musicals wise at the moment, whether I'd fancy seeing them or whether I'd give them a miss. Let me know what shows you really want to see that are on at the moment in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. We'd love to have you on the channel. Come on down. Stay tuned for more theatre content from a UK perspective, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye friends!